Spiritual warfare. Okay, some of you guys know spiritual warfare and some of you guys don't. Again, we are spirits having a human experience. So, although we see the outside human form of people, we always have to remember that there is a spirit inside of each individual person that is speaking to you. And you have to be aware of what spirit is speaking to you and where it's coming from. So with spiritual warfare, you have to really kind of put on your armor every single day. You have to double check with God. You have to find confirmation. You have to make sure the message that you're giving lines up with the Word of God and that it's not coming from somewhere else. Because God is very understanding, and God sees and hears every single conversation. There were times that I was doing things and saying things that I really didn't understand at the time because I was not new to spiritual warfare. I was aware of it, but God had really literally have fought my battles for me, literally. So there would be times I was talking to another person, but I'm talking to that spirit and I'm having conversations that make sense to me at the time, but they went so much deeper than what I understood, to where I later found out exactly what spirit I was talking to, and God was speaking through me, defending me to that spirit that was not of Him, that was coming up against me and coming up to attack me, and I didn't even know I was under attack. So you have to really be careful with the people who you let, I guess, I don't want to say minister to you, but kind of speak to you to influence your way of thinking. Because that influence can be coming from the wrong place. Even in the Bible, when Jesus was walking and He had His disciples, and I believe it was Peter, came up and he said something, and he knew he wasn't speaking to Peter because it didn't sound like what would be coming out of Peter's mouth. And he had to say, "Get behind me, Satan," because he knew that something was working through Peter at the time. Not that Peter was bad at all. It's just that he knew what was working through Peter at the time, and he had to speak directly into that spirit that was trying to work through him. So I literally experienced that. Because one thing about having a relationship with God is that how He usually will work things is that He'll give you the message first, and then He'll send one of His other children to come and confirm it. They'll come and confirm what He just put into your spirit. They'll say it, and it will line up. Everything will align with the Word of God. And then you go and you get confirmation. Make sure you get that confirmation. Don't go off on your own accord thinking, "Oh yeah, I just know." No, don't do that. Because you can be not purposely misleading people, but misleading people. And that's what you don't want to do. You don't want to stray people away from God. You want to lead them to God so they can have their own relationship with Him. And sometimes you got to hold people's hands through that process, but you want them to have their own relationship. You want them to have their relationship with God, because we're all being used. We're all a part of this map. We're all a part of this. So it's very, very, very important to make sure when you're speaking on God's behalf and He's using you as an instrument, as a vessel, that you're truly listening and you're hearing from Him. So sometimes we go through things and the enemy tries to creep in. When you know that you're going through something, or you're not healed, or your heart is healed, be quiet. Be quiet. And wait to get the proper healing and get that alignment with God. Just spend time with you and God for a little while until you get back to a place to where you can deliver His messages. So, yeah.